Alright, what's up guys? I figured I'd show you my post-game team now that I've completed Pokemon Black. I'd walk you through the team that won me the game, their moves, type advantages, type coverages, and strategies that I use with them. So we'll start off at the head of my team, who I have nicknamed Bruce Lee. He has a fighting type move, ground type move, and a rock type move. The fighting type advantages include dark, ice, normal, rock, and steel. So that's a pretty good coverage. It's super effective against 5 types. There's 18 different types in total, and that covers 5 right there. And next is ground type move. Ground type moves are super effective against electric, fire, poison, rock, and steel. Now his last type of move is rock. Rock is super effective against bug, fire, flying, and ice. So the overall coverage that he has is type advantages over ice, normal, rock, steel, electric, fire, poison, bug, and flying, which is 9 out of the 18 types. Next is Simipour. Simipour has water, ground, ghost, and fighting type attacks. Water is super effective against fire, ground, and rock. Ground type is super effective against electric, fire, poison, rock, and steel. Ghost type attacks are super effective against ghost types and psychic types. Fighting is super effective against dark, ice, normal, rock, and steel. So the overall coverage of Simipour is fire, ground, rock, electric, poison, steel, ghost, psychic, dark, ice, and normal, which is 11 out of 18 of all the types. So that's pretty significant coverage, I'd say. 11 out of 18. That's pretty good, pretty versatile. Next, I'm gonna move over to Electcross, who I have named Thunder. Electcross has fighting, dark, electric, and flying type moves. Fighting type moves are super effective against dark, ice, normal, rock, and steel. Dark type moves are super effective against ghost and psychic types. Electric type moves are super effective against flying and water types. Flying type attacks are super effective against bug, fighting, and grass. So the overall coverage is dark, ice, normal, rock, steel, ghost, psychic, flying, water, bug, fighting, and grass, which is 12 out of the 18 different types. He has coverage against 12 different types out of the overall 18 types that there are in the game. Next, going over to Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn has steel, grass, and ground type attacks. Let's start off with steel. Steel type attacks are super effective against fairy, ice, and rock. Grass type attacks are super effective against ground, rock, and water. Ground type attacks are super effective against electric, fire, poison, rock, and steel. The overall coverage of Ferrothorn is fairy, ice, rock, ground, water, electric, fire, poison, and steel, which is 9 out of 18 types. That's not bad. 9 out of the 18 types, decent coverage. Next is Reshiram, which actually has one of the worst overall coverages out of them all. We'll start with he has dragon, normal, psychic, and fire type moves. Dragon type attacks are only super effective against other dragons, so dragon is super effective against dragon, and that's it. Normal type attacks aren't super effective against anything. It's a neutral type, so it doesn't have any type advantages. Next is psychic type move. Psychic is super effective against fighting and poison. Now lastly, fusion flare, a fire type move. Fire types do super effective damage against bug, grass, ice, and steel. So the overall coverage of Reshiram is dragon, fighting, poison, bug, grass, ice, and steel, which is 7 out of the 18 types. He may be a legendary, but he actually has the worst coverage, the worst type coverage, because Bruce Lee has 9 out of 18, Simipour has 11 out of 18, Thunder has 12 out of 18, and Ferrothorn even has a 9 out of 18, whereas Reshiram stands at 7 out of 18. Now, I have a few strats that I like to use. For instance, Bruce Lee. He has low speed, so I gave him the Quick Claw item, which occasionally allows him to move first, which is good, considering his low speed. It helps out. And plus, his ability Inner Focus keeps him from flinching, which will also kind of keep the attacks coming in a little smoother. Next we have Simipour. Not a whole lot going on with Simipour. No particular strats, just versatile type advantages, and that's basically all I use Simipour for. The item is just a lucky egg, so she gets more experience points. Her ability is Gluttony, which encourages the early use of a held berry, but I never have Simipour hold berries, so the ability is nothing special. The held item is nothing. And there's not a whole lot of strat behind the movesets other than the versatile coverage. Now we move on to Thunder. Now, Thunder has type coverage over 12 of the 18 overall types, so it's very high. So the item I'm having him hold is the Expert Belt, and what the Expert Belt does is it increases the damage of super effective moves. Now, when you have coverage of 12 out of 18, Expert Belt really comes in handy, because not only do you do super effective damage majority of the time, but it's being powered up even further with his item. And also, his ability definitely comes in handy. He has the ability Levitate, which gives full immunity to all ground type moves. And that's very handy, because a lot of ground type moves are powerful. Next, Ferrothorn. I have a bit of more of a strat going on with this one than any others. We'll start with the held item. It's Rocky Helmet. So whenever a Pokemon does a physical attack and touches Ferrothorn, they'll take damage from Rocky Helmet. In addition to that, Ferrothorn's ability is Iron Barbs, which inflicts damage to the Pokemon on contact. So, again, if they do a physical attack, they'll receive damage. So, Ferrothorn has very high defense, high HP, he can tank attacks. So, whenever I get hit, Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs both do damage at the same time. Now, on top of Ferrothorn's already tanky nature, I have Iron Defense right there. Iron Defense sharply raises your defense by 3 levels. So if you use Iron Defense 3 times, you have maxed out defense. And so at that point, with maxed out defense, high defense to begin with, high HP, I can usually win battles without even having to attack, or just attacking once with him. Because I buff up his defense to where he doesn't really take damage, the enemy keeps attacking him, they're taking dual damage from Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs, so I'm doing damage twice while buffing. And then, once I use Iron Defense 3 times and I've got him set up, then I'll attack with something like Iron Head, Power Whip, or Bulldoze, depending on the type that I'm going up against. Which makes Ferrothorn pretty good. He's got a really good survivability. He can stay on the field for a while unless he gets nailed by a really powerful, super effective move or something. Let's see, and of course I don't really have any strategies with Reshiram. He's new. He's a legendary. He has poor type coverage. No items. He has the ability Turbo Blaze, which means moves can be used regardless of abilities. Not entirely sure what all that entails, but it seems to give a little bit of flexibility to how he can attack, I suppose. No held item. Haven't given him anything. And this is just my HM slave. I use, for surf, fly, whatever. I just use this one for HMs, so of course there's not really any strategy. Although it does have a few good things going for it. It's got Roost, which will the user lands and rests its body. It restores the user's HP by up to half of its maximum HP. So Roost is a good way to heal. He is also holding a citrus berry, which will automatically kick in and heal by 30 points. When his HP gets down to the yellow or the red, he'll eat the berry and regain 30 HP. And then you could follow that out with Roost, and then he's fully alive again. Now, he has the ability Big Pecs. It protects the Pokemon from defense-lowering attacks. So, with how fragile this one is, at least he's got a little bit of durability, survivability. And his moves aren't bad movesets. Surf is strong, Fly is strong, Air Slash probably won't get used. But those first 3 movesets make it okay for just an HM slave. It has a little bit of fight back, so. But yeah, that is my post-game team. There's still much to do. I have to find the 7 sages throughout the region. I have no idea where any of them are. I have to find the 7 sages and then locate the Shadow Triad. And I have no clue where any of them are, so I'm going to have to re-explore the entire region, starting at Route 1, and hopefully come across the Shadow Triad and the 7 sages and whatnot. I think those would make for interesting videos. Some good old post-game material that some people may not have known of or may not have pursued. But I'm definitely going to pursue this post-game activities. But yep, that is my post-game team so far. I have stuck with all of these Pokemon for a very long time throughout the game. They've been very good. And there are improvements that could be made. I'll probably make some optimizations a little further down the road. Once I encounter the first of the 7 sages, right before the battle with him, I'll probably see what I can do to optimize their movesets, optimize their items and abilities. Because I have no clue how good of a battler these sages are, or the Shadow Triad. So I don't really know what I'm in for. So yeah, when I find the first one, I'll go ahead and try to optimize things the best I can. And, well, that's it for this video. The next video, hopefully, will be of me encountering the first of the sages, and possibly the Shadow Triad. So, on my next video, you can look forward to seeing some of that nice post-game story that a lot of people don't pursue. And this has quite a bit of post-game stuff to do, so I'll let you guys follow along, see what these post-game goodies are all about, and see if the team I've been carrying for a long time will be suitable. Well, that's it for this one. Catch you guys in the next one. Whoosh.